And has making any of these names public, like, I'm just wondering, because, like, if I was in Texas, can you go visit these judges? They're elected officials, aren't they?
Oh yeah, I can go to the courts anytime. Yeah.
So do people, because this got so much traction, do people, I don't know, call the judges about your case? I mean, has this impacted that? Like, do they have any idea how much traction this has gotten, the case?
Oh, believe me, they do. Judge Bloody Mary Brown had a protest that broke out in front of her house.
No way.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And she lives in University Park in Texas. The phone calls to judges about specific cases are actually illegal. And my case caused all the courts in Texas to create reminders. Whenever you call the courts now, they have recorded messages telling you that it's a criminal offense to try to influence a judge on a specific case. So we need to probably change the laws to make it legal for people to let judges know if they're doing a bad job on a case. But right now, it's actually illegal to do that.
So was the protest in front of her house, was that illegal?
That was legal. However, University Park has a lot of public officials that live there, and they have a no specific protesting law. So you can't protest a specific house. So all they did is they marched up and down the sidewalk in front of her house, so it wasn't a specific house. Her Judge Bloody Mary Brown's husband came out and cussed out the protesters, used the F word, and created a big scene. Actually, it looks to me on the video like he assaulted one of them. I actually filed a recusal on that basis because they alleged that I led that protest, which I didn't, and that it constituted ex parte communication, the illegal kind that I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
And that's alleged in the pleadings in Texas. So in Texas, if a judge's spouse is a witness to any of the facts alleged in the pleading, they can't sit on the case. So she should have recused herself, but she didn't. So I went up. They brought in a judge emeritus who said she doesn't have to recuse herself. You can get the facts some other way. Totally illegal, but that's how it works in Texas.
And what about the other one, Blacklock, Justice Blacklock? Did people protest him? Did they?
No, I don't think people are even aware of what he's done. One of the things that our Supreme Court trades on is very low publicity campaigns. And so, but I assure you, in his next run for office, people will know. I will make sure of that.
When does he run?
It's got 2 years from now.
Okay. And wow, okay.
He's a total scumbag. He knew exactly what he was doing. He was working for the donor class. And the other thing too is you got to understand, Pearl, I am a thorn in the side of the Republican establishment here. They did not want to pass that transgender law. They did not want, because look, when I passed that law, it shut down $1 billion industry in Texas. It shut down all the gender clinics at children's hospitals in 4 major cities. So it was a major hit to the hospitals, which are a large donor class within the state. So they were really upset with me. One of the main reasons they let my ex-wife move to California is they wanted me to move there too, so I would leave the state and stop being a problem for them. So that's another thing that, people, I know some other examples of this besides me. The former mayor of Mineral Wells, for example, the political establishments are using family court as a weapon against political enemies. They'll take their kids and bankrupt them. And they're also able to manufacture all kinds of fake domestic violence claims and all kinds of things, which hurt them in re-election. So family court is being used as a political weapon. If you have an ex-wife and you run for office, you can be rest assured that your political enemies in the Republican Party will definitely go talk to your ex-wife.
Wow. So they'll talk to your ex-wife and get like a news story or something?
Well, they'll get her in Texas. The law firm of choice for this is Coons Fuller. And they'll get your ex-wife a law firm and sue you and manufacture a case against you to ruin your election.
Wait, say that one more time. Sorry. Say that. It's Coons
That's
Fuller.
They will get your ex-wife a lawyer with the most expensive and most powerful law firm in Texas to manufacture a case against you in family court because they know the laws of evidence don't apply there. They can get any evidence in they want and create fake charges, domestic violence charges, and then ruin your campaign so you can't get elected. They're the
But
largest donor to judicial campaigns in the state of Texas. They buy judges.
oh wow.
They never lose. They never lose.
So
Their retainers are enormous. The retainer for Coons Fuller is like $175,000.
so they run, wow, that's crazy. So they fund the whoever, like the judges' campaigns,
Yes, they do. Yeah.
and then they get your ex-wife to, could you say,
Yes.
sorry, say that one more time. They get your ex-wife to what?
They'll use your ex-wife and take you into hearings and create trumped up facts and charges that create a court record that's very damaging that will be used against you when you run for office.
Wow.
That's exactly what they did to me, actually.
That's so
I'll give you an
shocking. That's
example
so
in my
shocking
case.
because I really liked the guy that I met with there. Like, I'm actually so shocked.
Actually, I liked my opposing counsel in my case, Jessica
Yeah.
Jasic. She's a very nice lady. But Coons Fuller was a platinum sponsor of my judge's political campaign. Do you think I could get a fair trial there? Absolutely not.
No. Yeah.
They gave her tens of thousands of dollars. And that's perfectly legal in all the 50 states.
Really? So the law firms give the judges money to run, and the judges
Correct.
essentially, oh, so they have to let them win. And essentially,
Correct.
because women generally, I'm sure that's their biggest client is women. So
100%.
yeah, so obviously because women file first more. So
Right.
if that happens, then okay, that makes sense. Then of course you're gonna rule that way.
Yeah. And let me give you an example of how it works. In my 2019 trial, when I got 50-50 custody, Jessica Janicek from Coons Fuller, she was shocked. She fell out of her chair when I got 50-50 custody from this judge. It was Judge Kim Cooks in the 255th District Court. Coons Fuller, out of retribution, I believe, put in money against her opponent the next time she ran for office, and they took Kim Cooks off the bench.
Wow, that's crazy. So essentially, how is that legal?
Well, okay, it's a good question. So here's how it's legal, because it wouldn't be legal in any other industry, right? It couldn't be. It's legal because the Bar Association, it has a very special status in America. It's a private organization that is granted the legal status to essentially manage a discipline for state governments.
Mm-hmm.
In California, it's gone so far that they have actually ruled that the Bar Association, a private company, the Bar Association, has sovereign immunity, just like the state government. You can't sue it. So the bar associations are super powerful, and they are the ones most responsible for legislation that allows this stuff to happen. They want to be able to buy cases when they need to win. So they pass laws that let them do it.
Wow.
There's literally no organization in America that's probably as powerful as the Bar Association. And if you look at members of the bar in the state governments and the federal governments, prosecutors and judges are the most powerful lobby groups within the Bar Association, especially prosecutors. And the reason is very simple. I don't think people understand this either.
Mm-hmm.
Prosecutors and judges, like family court judges, have absolute immunity, meaning that even if you can prove that they violated the law in the performance of their duties with the intention to harm a child, they still can't be prosecuted for it.
The judges can't.
Judges and prosecutors.
They cannot, even if they violated the law with the intention to harm a child, they can't be prosecuted because of protections from the Bar Association.
Well, it's actually absolute immunity in the case of judges is a judicial doctrine that they invented for themselves. For prosecutors, it is statutory. Absolute immunity is a wild concept if you think about it. It basically means somebody's completely above the law in the performance of their duties for the government. You can't hold them responsible. We just had this big debate about whether the president should be held accountable for the law or have immunity,
Mm-hmm.
Well, prosecutors and judges have that all day, every day. So, if a prosecutor, for example, in a criminal trial intentionally withheld evidence to convict an innocent man and send him to the death penalty, he can't be prosecuted for that. He has absolute immunity in the performance of his duties.
So
it's a huge flaw in the design of our judiciary.
And judges have the same thing.
Yes, they do. Yeah. That's why they're so powerful.
But how is that? I'm kind of baffled that how is that legal? It's because of the Bar Association. That's what you're saying.
The bar associations have created laws that insulate lawyers and judges and prosecutors.
Oh.
The rubber hits the road for lawyers in front of judges and prosecutors. They are the lobby group for those people. And in the federal judiciary, the federal judges just invented this doctrine. They said, well, we're just never going to ever convict a judge. As long as it was in the performance of his duties, you won't be allowed to bring a case against him in federal court. So that's just how it is. Just like, there's the domestic relations exception in federal court. So a lot of people have asked me, Jeff, why don't you go into federal court on civil rights claims or go and get your constitutional rights upheld, in federal court? Well, the Supreme Court, since the establishment of family courts in the 80s, created a rule called the domestic relations exception. It's not a law. It's not a statute. It's not even a court case. It's just a rule promulgated by the U.S. Supreme Court. And it says that they just won't take any cases out of family court from the states, no matter how egregious they are. They just don't take them. So every time you go out of family court and you say your constitutional rights were violated as a parent, they just dismiss the case. You never can take your case up.
Do you foresee these names of these judges and prosecutors that do this sort of thing becoming public? Like, do you see the public potentially doing more protests similar to yours? And do you see it being effective?
So. I hope they do. One of the things that prosecutors and judges have come to believe is that they should not be influenced by the people, and that the people have no right to know what they're doing. They do not act like public officials, with sunshine laws where we can see what our government's doing. In California, they sealed my case, and there's no law in California that allows them to do that. So the public was not allowed to attend my trial. I can't give you the transcripts. I can't even give you the rulings. All those things are sealed. Even the appellate courts can't get them. So this has all been a secret trial. And judges have come to expect this kind of secrecy as a right of theirs. If you go into a lot of courtrooms, you're not allowed to record the proceedings. Mm-hmm. You can't record them. Why would you not be allowed to record what's happening in a public hearing? If you go to a hearing of the legislature, like I've been to the Texas legislature and the federal legislature many times. You can just whip out your phone and record the debates that are going on the floor. Why can't you do that in a court? The reason is very simple. The judge wants to control the record of what was done in the court. And in family courts, they often lie. I've had transcripts come back where they just put 3 dots and the answer to the question isn't present. Mm-hmm. Jessica Janicek from Coons Fuller would ask me a question. I would reply, and the record would reflect that I didn't give a reply. There's no evidence there. And the court reporter just said, well, I couldn't hear what he said. You see how they control the control. That way they can control what's in the record for the appellate court. So judges want to be in absolute control of that. And if you have a tape recorder, you can prove that they're doing felonious acts on the bench by manipulating public records. And so they don't let you do that. Some judges don't even let you take written notes of what's going on. You can't even take notes.
And so if that happens, the judges still can't be sued. They can't go to jail because I forgot the word you said, but they essentially
absolute immunity.
They have absolute immunity, so they can't even be prosecuted for these things.
That is correct.
Wow.
Police officers have qualified immunity, mm-hmm. which means if they reasonably believed they were following the law, they can't be prosecuted. Mm-hmm. But judges have absolute immunity, which means even if they knew they were breaking the law, they can't be prosecuted.
Okay, guys, please like the video on your way out and subscribe to the channel. Thank you so much for watching. And I will see you tomorrow, 3 o'clock, for another episode of Pearl Daily here on the Audacity Network. I'll see you.